I'm Michael Drives, and this is the 2024 Fiat 500e Red. The 2024 500e is all-electric and was built from the ground up to be an all-electric vehicle, a change from the last generation, which was a gasoline-powered car modified to be an electric. Now, range has greatly increased, and actually there have been a ton of improvements versus the old 500e electric. To start out with, we've got 17-inch wheels instead of 15-inch wheels. It's 2 inches longer, 2 inches wider, and about 2 inches taller. So it's bigger in every dimension on the outside by a couple inches. And then on the inside, there is substantially more room, several inches in width and passenger height. So even tall people can get in here. And there's a 6-way adjustable seat. But let's look at the design clues on the outside of the 500e. So first of all, you have full LED headlamps and tail lamps here in the US. You've got this sort of eyebrow or eyelash LED driving light in here, and then your projector LED headlights. Then down here you have this sort of Fiat mustache, I'll call it that, but with the 500 logo, carrying on that tradition from the very first 500 Cinquecento in 1957 on to the 2024. The range on the 500e is now 149 miles, but they put a larger battery in here and actually made the car weigh less, which is pretty impressive. Like the old 500, you can do level 1 charging, you can do level 2 charging, but now you can level 3 charge, you can fast charge the 500e, and you can add 30 miles of range in 5 minutes with a max 85 kilowatt charging capacity. So that's the limit. If you pull up to a 100 kilowatt charger, you'll be totally fine. Any number above that is kind of a little bit overkill. Your level 2 charge time is 6 hours, and your level 1 charge time is about 36 hours to go all the way from about 5% to 100%. So pretty quick charging times because it's a city car, smaller battery. It's not needed. It's actually the lightest EV that you can buy in the United States. This is the very first edition for the 2024 500, and it's called the 500 Red, which means every vehicle purchase, there's a donation made to the Product Red Foundation, I believe it's called, for AIDS research and for a cure for that. So it comes in red, but you can also get it in black or white, the 500 Red, which is the name of the edition. Some really cool details. So not only do you have these new 17-inch wheels, but in the side indicator you have the Italian flag sort of in there as a cool reminder of its Italian roots. And for the first time, the 500e that's available in the US is made in Italy, Torino, Italy. Now, coming around here to the side in this 500 Red edition, sort of black trim goes around the greenhouse here, and then some special additions. This is actually chrome, but in this car it's black rubber trim, and then you've got a nice little 500e logo here. Coming around the back, you've got your LED taillights, a big spoiler here to help with aerodynamics. If you look closely, you'll see a little bit of a, looks like a skyline of Italy, a city in Italy. I'll let you take a look at that. And then if I just reach under here and open it up, you can see we have a cargo area. Now before, where the 500e's floor was pretty flat here, we actually have more room down in the cargo area so that you can store just a few more things, some larger suitcases, duffel bags, whatnot. The rear seats do fold down. It's a 50-50 folding seat, so you just a little button to press here, and you can drop these down like that. And then there's a little bit of a cargo cover to keep whatever you put back in here somewhat private and out of the sight of people walking and passing by, and that little thing just flips down. There's no straps like the old one or a lot of cars have that kind of lift this up because it's so small you don't really need to. There's a little strap here to pull this down so you don't have to reach on the outside and get your hands dirty. So let's take a look at the inside of the car. Welcome to the inside of the 500e. The first thing you're going to notice is this large 12, I believe 0.25 infotainment screen here. It's a touch screen. Really nice. It's a feature that the old 500e, of course, did not have. And then you've got a thin film transistor display behind the steering wheel. A lot of really crisp graphics. They're very high res, very nice. And this employs the Uconnect 5 system. That's an award-winning system that's in a lot of the brand's cars, Stellantis, larger brand. But you do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, as well as wireless charging. There's a wireless charging cubby right here, and that's really nice because it keeps your phone secured. So if you're doing some wild driving in the city, it's going to stay in one place and stay charging. If you're not a wireless charging person, there's a USB port here, there's a USB port down in here, and there's a USB-C port down here, as well as a 12-volt accessory outlet. Now, also in the center console, you have 3 controls. You've got volume, where you can turn the stereo up, turn it down, turn it off, And then your E mode, you can shift and change modes. You get 3 modes in the 500e. You get normal, you get range, which adds 1 pedal driving, and then you get Sherpa, which is the 3rd, and that shuts off the HVAC and gives you the most range that the car can achieve. It reduces the power to the powertrain as well and caps you at 50 miles per hour. Moving here back to the center console, you've got park, reverse, neutral, drive in large buttons right here on the dash, so very easy sort of electronic control to change gears or put it back in park. Now in the old 500e, there was a large handle here that you could lock, open the door with, and if you push the handle in, it would lock. Now you have an E-latch, so nice thing about here, you just push down, the door releases like that, and then you can pull it closed. If there were a loss of power, there is a mechanical release down here to open the door, so you can just give that a pull, kick it with your elbow, and it is open at that point. You'll notice when I shut that door, there's a much more solid thunk than the last generation. They've really improved the quality, the build quality, and sort of the trim and materials in this version. Because this is the 500 red, it has a red dash. You can see a gloss dash in here, and that'll vary depending on the trim or the drop or edition. Fiat's calling them drops now, like the music drop or the fashion drop. Up here you do have some telematics where you have an assist button if you need roadside assistance, and there's an SOS button as well. Of course, there's a 4G connection up to the cloud for this, and the Uconnect system also gets over-the-air updates, so it'll constantly improve over time. On the steering wheel, the 500 red, not only you have the nice red logo here, but you have controls for your cruise control, and you can control the infotainment and answer the phone, and then there's natural voice recognition where you just hit the button in the center and you can ask it to turn up the volume, you could ask it to adjust the AC temperature or navigate somewhere. Also new is rain sensing windshield wipers. That's new to the 500e, and there is a 6-speaker audio system that comes standard with the 500 red. And as far as safety, you've got 7 airbags and a lot of electronic driver assistant features such as automatic emergency braking and a whole suite of different safety systems that come standard. You actually only have 2 options when you're buying your 500 red or any 500e right now. You can choose whether you want all season or summer tires. Both are going to be 17 inches. And then Fiat will also give you the choice of a level 2 charger for your garage. Now, of course, you'll have to pay installation for that, or charging credits for level 3 fast charging. One thing it's slightly devoid of here in the front is cup holders. If you have a tall drink, you can kind of set it in here, although there's nothing that really particularly holds it in place. Or down here, you might be able to see there is a cup holder that sort of drops out of the front. You can latch it and unlatch it if you want, and that holds 1 single cup. And then in the rear, there is a place for 1 more cup, just 1. So 2 people, I hope you like sharing your drinks because there's really room for 1 cup with a lid, although you could put a water bottle down in here in the door, but if you have something with a lid that could spill, that wouldn't really be ideal. In the center here, you have a center armrest, and this is for both driver and passenger. It's not just affixed to one of the seats. I'm going to open this up as soon as the handle's down here. We're going to open that up, and there's plenty of room, and it is very deep, so you could theoretically put another drink in here if you wanted. I'm going to close that up. In the old 500e, you had to twist a key to turn it on. Now with the 2024, there's simply a button on the dash, and you press that button once and it sort of goes into accessory mode, press it again, and that turns the vehicle on. Here's a tip that I didn't know during my drive. If you long press it or hold it for a couple seconds, you can skip that second press, and it will, if you have your foot on the brake, it will activate and be ready to drive. Efficiency is the same as the last generation, 116 mpge, which is very good. And then you have 149 miles of range in this car. And of course, that is a combined driving estimated range, or combined range. So if you're only doing city driving, you're actually going to do better than that 149 mile estimate. The vehicle does not have a heat pump, instead has resistive heating when you turn the heat on, but it does have liquid cooling for the battery, so it can manage the battery in that way and prolong the life of the battery. Now, while Fiat says it's completely fine to plug in at night and charge to 100%, whether you're on level 1 or level 2 charging, when you're level 3 charging, of course, they recommend, if you don't need to charge to 100%, to just charge to 80% and then be on your way, because it does slow down after hitting that 80% mark. And now it's time for my fabulous favorites and not so favorites about the 500e. Fabulous favorite, the size. It only grew a couple inches wider and longer and just an inch or so higher, but really it stayed true to its roots. My not so favorites, there is no digital key available, so you can't use your phone as a key in the 2024 500. And then the second to seating position is still a little bit high. If it's a six-way adjustable seat, but if you're coming from a crossover or traditional SUV, you're going to be completely fine and feel right at home. However, it's not a sports car low down seating position. So that brings me to the end of this quick review. If you have any questions, please comment in the YouTube comments, and most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. I get a little email and that makes me smile, of course, but also it'll allow me to do future reviews for you and bring you product right when it hits the market. Thank you and have a good day.